There's a dangerous truth, a chilling whisper hidden within the fragile brevity of Christ's life. It's a revelation so raw, so utterly devastating, it can shatter your perception of time, purpose, and the very meaning of sacrifice. Have you ever felt that gnawing ache, that primal question echoing in the quiet corners of your soul? Why only 33 years? We cling to the hope of longevity, yet the most pivotal life in history was cut tragically short. What profound, almost forbidden wisdom lies within that number, a truth so potent it's rarely spoken? Mel Gibson, the visionary who dared to strip away centuries of comfort and show us the unvarnished agony of the cross, wrestled with this query. The answer he found, a whisper from eternity, promises to break your heart, only to rebuild it stronger, more resolute. Are you prepared to confront this profound discovery, this sacred truth waiting patiently for you? I confess, there are nights when the silence in my home feels less like peace and more like a heavy blanket, pressing down on the most unsettling of thoughts. We live in a world so utterly obsessed with longevity, don't we? With stretching out every single moment, terrified of the relentless march of time. I look at lives cut tragically short, and a primal scream echoes within my own chest. Why? What was the purpose? What was left undone? This isn't just about others. It's about that cold dread that grips me when I contemplate my own fleeting moments, my own struggles, the dreams that whisper, "What if there isn't enough time?" It's a fear that feels deeply personal, yet profoundly universal. Have you ever felt that gnawing ache, that unsettling sense that life itself can be so fragile, so often unfair? It's not just a theological debate for me. It's the quiet whisper in the dead of night, the cold dread that perhaps my own time too might be tragically insufficient. I watch the clock, feeling moments slip through my fingers like grains of sand, and I question the meaning of it all. Why do good people suffer? Is there purpose in a life lived intensely but briefly, or is it merely a cruel twist of fate? This isn't just an abstract query, it's the weight in my chest, the unspoken fear that binds us all in our shared human experience of time and loss, making us cling to every precious second. I remember one such night, the moon hanging heavy and full outside my window, casting long, unsettling shadows. I was wrestling with a profound sense of personal loss, a feeling of time slipping away, and I found myself staring into the flickering flame of a candle, its tiny light dancing like 1,000 unanswered questions. In that profound stillness, a question, primal and urgent, formed on my lips, one that felt almost sacrilegious to voice aloud. Jesus, why did you only live 33 years? Was it truly enough? It was a moment of raw, unvarnished vulnerability, a desperate plea for understanding in the face of life's relentless brevity, a bridge to a revelation I never anticipated, a truth I now feel compelled to share with you. We live in a world utterly captivated by the pursuit of longevity, don't we? Every supplement, every diet, every cutting-edge medical discovery screams the same message. Extend, prolong, defy the inevitable. We cling to the hope of stretching out every precious moment, a desperate, almost primal fear of time's relentless, unyielding march echoing in our very bones. When we witness a life, any life, abruptly cut short, a child's laughter silenced too soon, a dream left tragically unfulfilled, a potential extinguished before its bloom, a raw, guttural scream erupts within the collective human heart. Why? What was the ultimate purpose? What profound contributions were left tragically undone? This isn't merely an observation. It's a shared human lament, an ancient sorrow that binds us all in the face of life's inherent fragility, making us question the very fabric of our existence and the elusive nature of destiny itself. This universal anguish resonates deeply within each of us. This isn't just about the abstract concept of others. It's about the cold, creeping dread that seizes Cullamy *. When I pause to contemplate my own fleeting moments, my own quiet struggles, the myriad of unfulfilled dreams that whisper, what if there simply isn't enough time to achieve them all? We all carry that heavy burden, that unspoken fear of our own mortality, watching the sands of our personal hourglass slip away with alarming speed. We see the vibrant hues of autumn leaves falling too soon, a metaphor for lives that seem to vanish before their natural season. Why, we ask, do good, kind people suffer so profoundly, often enduring hardships far beyond what seems fair? Is there a deeper hidden purpose in a life lived intensely, with burning passion, even if that life is tragically brief? Or is it merely a cruel, arbitrary twist of fate, leaving only questions in its wake? This gnawing ache, this profound sense that life itself can be so incredibly fragile, so often unfair, transcends mere theological debate. It's the quiet, unsettling whisper that haunts the darkest hours of the night, the cold dread that perhaps my own time, too, might prove tragically insufficient. We find ourselves unconsciously watching the clock, feeling precious moments relentlessly slip through our fingers like fine grains of desert sand, and in that silent observation, we question the very meaning of our existence, the grand design. Is there truly purpose in a life lived with such intense, vibrant passion, yet cut tragically short, or is it simply a cruel, indifferent cosmic joke? This isn't an abstract intellectual query. It's the visceral weight in my chest. The unspoken universal fear that binds us all in our shared human experience of time, of inevitable loss, compelling us to cling fiercely to every fleeting, precious second we are granted. I remember one such night vividly, the moon hanging heavy and full outside my window, casting long, unsettling shadows that seemed to mock the quiet despair settling over me. The silence in my home felt less like peace and more like a crushing weight, amplifying a profound sense of personal loss and the relentless, terrifying feeling of time slipping through my fingers. I found myself staring intently into the flickering flame of a single candle, its tiny light dancing with 1,000 unanswered questions, each one echoing the raw fragility of existence. In that profound stillness, a question, primal and urgent, formed on my lips, one that felt almost sacrilegious to voice aloud. Jesus, why did you only live 33 years? Was it truly enough? This wasn't a thought. It was a desperate, vulnerable plea for understanding in the face of life's relentless brevity, an accidental bridge to a revelation I never anticipated. In the wake of that desperate, whispered question, a frantic energy seized me, propelling me into a frustrated search for answers. I plunged into ancient texts, dog-eared theological tomes, and countless sermons, hoping to unearth a logical explanation, a comforting rationale for such profound brevity. My nights blurred into a haze of flickering lamplight and turning pages, the scent of old paper and dust clinging to the air, a constant companion to my burgeoning confusion. Scholars offered intricate interpretations of prophecy and divine timing, their words precise and academic, yet they felt cold, devoid of the human warmth my aching soul craved. Each learned discourse, each meticulously footnoted argument, only amplified the gnawing void within. It was as if I was staring at a beautifully rendered map, understanding every contour, yet still utterly lost, the true destination remaining frustratingly out of reach. Didn't anyone else feel this profound unease, this spiritual tremor beneath the surface of accepted dogma? The more I read, the more the silence screamed. I sought counsel, too, venturing beyond the quiet solitude of my study. Conversations with well-meaning friends, their eyes reflecting genuine concern, offered platitudes about faith and the mysterious ways of the divine. God works in mysterious ways, they'd say, or His plan is perfect even if we don't understand it. Their words, intended to soothe, felt like a balm applied to a wound too deep for surface healing. I spoke with spiritual leaders, their voices calm and reassuring, yet their explanations, steeped in centuries of tradition, still couldn't quiet the restless storm within me. The answers felt too neat, too polished, lacking the raw, visceral truth I instinctively knew must exist. It was like trying to capture the vastness of the ocean in a teacup, the essence always eluding my grasp. The shared human experience of loss and the universal quest for meaning remained unanswered, leaving me feeling even more isolated in my profound, unyielding doubt. The frustration mounted, a heavy weight pressing down on my spirit as I realized that human intellect, no matter how profound, and conventional wisdom, no matter how comforting, were utterly insufficient. The logical explanations felt hollow, the spiritual reassurances superficial, failing to bridge the chasm between my aching heart and the stark reality of Christ's short life. I walked through sun-drenched parks, the laughter of children echoing around me, yet I felt a profound chill, a disconnect from the vibrant tapestry of life. Was there truly no answer that could satisfy this primal longing, this urgent need to comprehend? Each dead end only intensified the suspense, underscoring the desperate need for an intervention, a voice that could cut through the noise of human conjecture and speak directly to the core of this devastating truth. My soul yearned for something more, something beyond the realm of what I could find in books or conversations, a revelation that promised to break me yet ultimately heal. It was in that raw, desolate space, a crucible forged from doubt and an almost unbearable longing for understanding, that something shifted within me. The relentless search through ancient texts and well-meaning advice had left me adrift, but then a different kind of guide began to emerge. It wasn't a literal presence, no sudden apparition bathed in ethereal light, but rather the powerful resonance of a voice, a vision, a perspective that had dared to stare unflinchingly into the abyss of faith. I began to revisit the cinematic landscapes Mel Gibson had sculpted, his interviews, his unwavering, often controversial, conviction. It was as if his very journey, his own wrestling with the divine, was reaching across time and space, extending a hand to pull me from the swirling currents of my despair. Had you ever considered that an answer might not come as a direct whisper, but as a path laid bare by another's relentless seeking? This wasn't a soft, comforting whisper at first, but a challenging summons. Through his lens, I began to see the dusty roads of ancient Judea, the weary faces of the disciples, the agonizing weight of the cross. Suddenly, these weren't just scenes on a screen, but vivid, visceral experiences that wrapped around my senses. I smelled the dry earth, tasted the metallic tang of fear, felt the scorching sun on my skin. Gibson's unapologetic insistence on confronting the full, agonizing reality of the sacrifice, stripped bare of centuries of comfortable piety, became my unwilling, yet necessary, pilgrimage. He wasn't just showing me a story, he was dragging me by the hand through the dust and blood of Calvary to the very feet of Christ. His portrayal, so raw and unflinching, demanded that I not just observe, but feel the cost, the unbearable burden of what transpired. It was an immersion, a shattering of preconceived notions, forcing me to confront the unvarnished agony. And it was there, amidst the imagined dust and the echoing cries, through the unflinching gaze of a man who had himself plunged into the depths of Christ's suffering, that I began to hear the answer. Not with my ears, but deep within the marrow of my bones, a profound, almost shattering truth that resonated with an overwhelming, sorrowful love. The narrative shifted. The relentless, gnawing questions that had plagued me for so long began, slowly, to dissolve, like morning mist before the rising sun. In their place, a torrent of understanding began to flow, channeled through the perspective of one who had spent a lifetime trying to grasp the incomprehensible. It was a revelation that promised to break my heart, yes, but only to rebuild it, stronger, more resolute, with a clarity I never dared to imagine. What does it feel like when the pieces of a lifelong puzzle finally begin to click into place, revealing a picture far grander and more painful than you ever conceived? And here, woven into the very fabric of existence, Through the uncompromising gaze of one who dared to look, I began to see. The first truth, stark and breathtaking, was this: his time was not tragically cut short, as our human hearts so desperately want to believe. No, it was perfectly, divinely fulfilled. Every single breath he took, every step on dusty Galilean roads, every word whispered to a crowd or a solitary soul, was a deliberate, purposeful stride towards the ultimate act of love, the cross. It wasn't about the asterisk length of his earthly journey, but the incandescent intensity of it, a life burning with a fire so fierce it was meant to illuminate eternity itself. His 33 years weren't a measure of scarcity, but of a boundless, overflowing sacrifice, each moment meticulously orchestrated, not by fate, but by an unwavering, all-consuming love. Do you understand the profound weight of such precision, such divine intention in every fleeting second? It reshapes everything. Then came the second, a truth that makes my very soul ache with understanding. Imagine carrying the collective weight of every human sin, past, present, and future, upon your shoulders. Can you truly fathom such an incomprehensible burden? His life, though brief by our standards, was an eternity of agony compressed into those few years, because he bore the unspeakable. To ask him to endure that crushing, suffocating weight for one single moment longer than divinely necessary would not only have been an act of unimaginable cruelty, but it would have utterly annihilated humanity itself. His early departure wasn't an abandonment. It was an act of mercy, a release from a suffering so immense it threatened to unravel the very fabric of creation. It was a testament to a love so vast, it willingly embraced the unbearable, yet understood the precise moment when the burden must be laid down. What does that say about the immense cost of your own freedom? The third revelation arrived like a gentle yet firm hand on my shoulder, shifting my entire perspective. His life was never meant to be the destination itself, but rather a sacred, living bridge. He didn't come to merely walk among us for a few decades. He came to forge a path, a direct route to everlasting life, a reality so grand, so expansive, that it stretches infinitely beyond our limited earthly years. We, in our human frailty, often mistake the journey for the end, clinging to transient moments as if they are all that exist. But his brevity was a deliberate signpost, pointing us beyond the finite, inviting us to step onto that bridge and cross into a realm where time itself ceases to hold dominion. He lived intensely, yes, but always with his gaze fixed on the eternal, preparing a place for you, for me, for all who dare to follow. Can you see the magnificent architecture of this divine design, stretching into the boundless? Then came the fourth truth, a profound, almost startling summons directly to my own soul and to yours. His brevity is not a symbol of tragedy for him, but an urgent, resounding testament to the critical nature of your own mission, your own unique purpose. It screams, "Do not squander your days." For the kingdom, that divine reality is not some distant future or abstract concept. It is at hand, always, available in every choice, every act of love, every moment of grace. His short life wasn't about a lack of time, but about the profound significance of every single second. It compels us to live with an intensity, a devotion, and a fierce love that mirrors his own. Are you truly living each day as if it holds eternal weight? As if the kingdom is waiting to unfold within your very next breath? Where are you watching from as you ponder this urgent call to embrace your sacred purpose? Right now. The fifth realization pierced me deeply, a truth so raw it resonated with every human experience of pain. Through suffering, he spoke a universal language, one that transcends culture, creed, and time. A language all humanity, from the most devout to the most despairing, could instinctively understand. His agony on the cross wasn't just a physical event. It was a profound, guttural cry, echoing through the ages, a testament to God's relentless, unyielding pursuit of his lost children. It declared unequivocally that no wound is too deep, no sorrow too vast, no sin too dark for his love to reach. He entered the deepest valleys of human pain, not to condemn, but to transform, to show us that even in our most broken moments, we are seen, we are loved, and we are fiercely, desperately sought. Have you ever considered that your own pain might be a whisper of this divine language, a secret path to profound connection? Then came the sixth truth, a heartbreaking yet ultimately liberating understanding of divine affection. His heart broke, not for the perceived shortness of his earthly life, but for the immeasurable, boundless depth of the love he had to offer humanity. And it broke for the agonizing, visceral pain required to unequivocally prove that love. Imagine a love so vast, so fierce, that it would willingly endure the most brutal torment, simply to leave no doubt, no lingering question in your heart about its authenticity and its power. His suffering was the ultimate demonstration, a divine demand that resonated with every fiber of his being, a testament that his love was not a gentle whisper, but a roaring, consuming fire. This wasn't a choice made lightly. It was the ultimate consequence of an infinite love meeting the infinite chasm of human sin. Can you feel the fierce demand of such a love, calling you to respond? Finally, the seventh, a truth that transforms despair into an unshakable, glorious hope. His early grave was not an end, not a final, tragic stop in the narrative of his life. No, it was the fertile, sacred ground for the greatest miracle ever conceived, the very seed of resurrection. It was the promise, etched in stone and spirit, of life triumphant over death, of light conquering the deepest darkness, of hope blossoming from the ashes of despair. His brief life, culminating in that tomb, was merely the necessary prelude to an eternal dawn, a cosmic victory that obliterated the power of the grave forever. His sacrifice was not a defeat. It was the ultimate strategy, the divine paradox that turns sorrow into joy, loss into gain, and death into the very gateway of everlasting life. Do you see now that even in the face of our deepest fears, the seed of resurrection is always waiting to bloom? And so the true heartbreak, the crushing revelation that finally settled upon my spirit, wasn't the simple fact that Jesus lived only 33 years, as my human mind had so desperately fixated upon. No, the shattering truth was far more profound, far more beautiful in its agony. What appeared to be a tragic brevity, a life abruptly cut short, was instead revealed as a divine design of breathtaking precision and immeasurable purpose. His years were not few. They were complete, a perfect, agonizing sacrifice meticulously woven into the fabric of eternity. Imagine, if you can, an entire ocean of suffering, not spread thinly over a vast expanse, but compressed, intensified into every single breath of those 3 decades. This wasn't a weakness, it was an incandescent gift, a cosmic testament to a love so fierce it would willingly embrace the unbearable, transforming perceived scarcity into an abundance of grace. Do you feel the weight of that completeness, the perfect symphony of divine intention in what seemed, to our limited eyes, an unfinished song? It changes everything. This profound understanding pierced me, not with despair, but with a sorrowful, overwhelming love that brought me to my knees. The real heartbreak is not for him, for his journey was divinely ordained, but rather the crushing realization that those 33 years contained an ocean of suffering, a perfect, agonizing sacrifice, endured specifically so that our eternal life might begin. Can you truly grasp the magnitude of a love that would choose such a path? His life was not brief in its impact. It was a compressed eternity of divine love and searing human pain, a testament to a God who would rather die for us, embrace the full horror of separation, than live a single moment without us. Feel the imagined dust of Calvary on your skin, the echo of his breath, the weight of the cross. every sensory detail screaming the cost of your freedom. This furious, burning passion consumed him utterly, not to punish, but to set you and me truly free. And with that realization, a profound catharsis washed over me, reframing every anxious thought I'd ever harbored about time, suffering, and my own elusive purpose. The gnawing ache of, why only 33 years, dissolved, replaced by a clarity that felt like sunlight breaking through the darkest clouds. His brevity wasn't a flaw in the divine plan. It was the ultimate undeniable proof of a love so vast, so consuming, that it shattered the chains of death and despair. His life was not merely lived, it was given, a furious, burning passion that consumed him utterly so that we, in our fragile humanity, might truly be set free. This truth reshapes everything, transforming our perception of fleeting moments into opportunities for eternal impact, and redefining suffering not as a curse, but as a sacred pathway to profound, redemptive love. Can you now see how what once seemed like a tragic end was, in fact, the most glorious beginning for us all? So, what does this profound, heartbreaking truth mean for your everyday life as you wrestle with your own fleeting moments and quiet heartbreaks? It's a powerful invitation to redefine what truly matters. This revelation urges you to see every breath, every challenge you face, every act of love you extend as holding not just temporary, but eternal significance. Embrace your suffering not as a curse, but as a sacred crucible that refines your spirit, mirroring Christ's path. Live with an urgent, profound purpose, pouring out your love fiercely, understanding that life's true value isn't measured in its mere length, but in its boundless depth, devotion, and resonant connection with the divine. Find strength in your vulnerabilities, meaning in your pain, and know that even in the shortest of lives, a monumental, eternal work can be accomplished. You are never alone in your struggle for meaning. His 33 years were, and still are, profoundly for you. As the sun now rises, painting the sky with hues of eternal promise, the shadows of doubt that once clung to the brevity of his years have receded, revealing a landscape of profound, unwavering purpose. No longer a tragic mystery, his 33 years stand as a luminous beacon, a testament not to scarcity, but to an overflowing abundance of divine love, poured out completely for you. Carry this truth within you. Your own fleeting moments, your joys, your sorrows, are not lost to the relentless current of time, but are woven into a grander tapestry, each thread imbued with sacred significance. Let this revelation be the wind beneath your wings, inspiring you to live with an intensity that mirrors his own, to love fiercely, and to find peace in the knowledge that every breath, every choice, is an opportunity to touch eternity. May your heart, once broken by the weight of the unknown, now beat with the resolute rhythm of a life truly lived, a life eternally connected. As these truths about Christ's life settle in your heart, transforming perceived brevity into love's testament, I wonder what part of this revelation resonates most deeply with you. What does the intense, yet complete, life of Jesus stir within your spirit? Is it the call to embrace your purpose, or the comfort in understanding suffering as a sacred language? This isn't just a story, it's a mirror reflecting humanity, inviting you to see your journey within its timeless embrace. Feel its resonance as you ponder this heartbreaking yet hopeful truth, rebuilding you. Tell me, what time is it for you right now, wherever you are, connecting with this understanding?